piece. Like the Grieg, which we will have done by this stage, probably, it's very much in 3 voices, and I get people to learn first the bass line all the way through. All of that sort of thing, all the way through. So that's got a character of itself, and you notice I've got more on the first beat, and a bit on the 4th quaver, the second beat. 2. Each bar I'm getting is a bit less than the first bar, so lots of shape. So that needs to be entire in itself. Then we've got and it's relatively strong, it's very rhythmical. Then we've got the offbeat cha-chas, which are chords in the middle. Practiced on their own, very softly, little strokey fingertips. And then there's the tune, the Spanish sounding, Mediterranean sounding tune. And we move to the first beat, but there's this sort of feeling of 1, 2, the second quaver of the 6/8. 1, 2, dum, 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 dum. There is a little accent written on some of these. Bar 4, bar 7. There's an accent on the second quaver, as it were. So that's obviously got to be clearly pronunciated all the way through. And then I get children to do any 2 voices, bass and accompaniment, or soprano and accompaniment, and middle accompaniment, or just the bass and the tune. Trying to keep the character of each of the lines. And eventually you get to play all 3 parts. The soprano, the top line, has got... Think very much in terms of vocal music. In fact, there's a lovely recording on YouTube, Tiziana Portuguese, who sings it with an orchestra, and it's very sort of sensuous performance, and you've got to be thinking, hearing that singing voice in your head as you're playing this. Take time with the little grace notes. We first have them at bar 18. What are we doing there? Well, the piece is in E minor. E minor. It takes us into that major. So it's not take your time with those. So take your time with those little grace notes and take them suddenly into the major. Do I need something about the octaves? Bar 9, the end of bar 19, bar 20, these octaves are jolly stretchy because they're relatively fast. And then that's what I call a filled chord. It's a filled octave. It's an octave with an extra note in the middle. And it's quite difficult. Really quite stretchy to get there. We can miss out the lower note of the octave, the thumb note, if necessary. But Mila's determined that she's going to play all the notes. She can't really stretch it. But one can miss out the inside parts, the thumb notes with octaves. You always want the lowest bass note, you always want the top, the highest note, but the middle part can drop out sometimes. The middle section, the andante, is absolutely gorgeous. We've gone into the major now, the tonic major. So we started in E minor, and now we're in E major. And it's a matter of singing out the top line. So practicing the top on its own, so we know the ear knows what to listen for. And then when we've got the underneath parts, we don't want it's just singing out the top. Singing those top notes. We don't want that sort of thing, just the top notes. I think the way Natalie brought out her little raindrops in her Debussy on Sunday, it was quite a thick texture, and then she just picked out a few of those little raindrops. They just came through with great clarity. Little fingers, strong little fingers. There's a strong underlying metronomic pulse, but it's very flexible at the same time. It's quite difficult. I mean, one must be able to play it with the metronome. It's not that we wobble around, but on the other hand, beginning a phrase will stretch the tempo. End of phrase will stretch the tempo. Perhaps in the middle. The slow bit has a lot of much louder, much softer, con molto espressione, louder here and softer there, and louder and a sforzando, and all sorts of things that need to be there. And in fact, yes, I was saying that we often have the second quaver of the beat is a little bit more strong. In the andante, where it's 3/4 time, not 6/8, we often do go for the second beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, da da, 1, 2, 3, which is like a saraband in the old Baroque dance suite. Slight emphasis on the second beat of the bar. Yeah, so it's basically A, the bit in E minor, B in E major, then it repeats the E major bit and then the E minor bit, and then you've just got a different bar at the very end. Just coda. Nothing very different. Oh, just notice the difference between major and minor in bar 22, which has got a C sharp, and 23, which is C natural. C sharp. C natural there. Tiny difference. Read correctly. That's that one.